Hey there, hi there, ho there. This is RHJunior, RHJunior Reality Check Live, coming to you live over the internet through the series of tubes known as YouTube, bringing you a simulation of the boob tube. I'd like to bring to you once again another live broadcast of my barely normal live streaming spleen squeezins. Miracle of miracles, all the blinking software is working. Slideshow's still stuck, but there you go. You can't have everything. What can you say? Do-do-do-do. I wish I knew what those equalizer. Video effect. It's interesting. I've been trying to find some sort of I think I found something. I would kind of like my graphics to be interactive in some fashion. Now that they've buggered up the sludge-out. Yeah. We've updated our software. Oh, thank you very much. Now it doesn't work right. Finding it. Well, the good news is that I filed my taxes yesterday. The bad news is that, well, first of all, I had to do it online digitally because my printer. I went to all the trouble order. Oh, I'm out of paper. I gotta have paper to print this. I ordered it, and I waited, and I waited, and the paper arrived. 500, nice. Typing paper, printing paper, so I loaded up, and now my printer won't work. It's a pretty old printer. It's pretty, it's up in years, I think. It's just not working. I'll type it, it won't print. It just won't. It just sits there. It'll turn on. It'll even scroll paper through it, but it will not print. It just sits there and goes, what? So I'm going to, I don't know. Printers are crap. Printers are crap. This is a printer scanner combo, in case you were wondering. Bubble jet printer. You know, it's a computer printer. It's also a computer scanner combo. I forget how long ago I bought it. It's a decade old. It probably just decided, I don't know, something. Well, I didn't smell any smoke, so nothing jammed or anything. It just doesn't work. I'll tell it print, and it just sits there like the world's most redundant paperweight. I'm having this problem. I got, I try and print something. I try and use my printer. The printer doesn't work. I've got. By the way, thank you. I had aged. The DVD burner in the computer just went a while back, and a couple of people. Some generous folks sent me a external DVD burner. I've got two of them sitting here actually. But the thing of it is that getting them to work, just basically, you have to go through all the arcane rituals, and then you have to try them over 2 or 3 or 4 times before it decides, oh yeah, I'm supposed to print this thing, aren't I? And then it takes forever. It doesn't want to work. I think, okay, I'm worried that basically what I've got is that I've reached the limits of what my desktop system can do. Is the main computer? It was already outdated when I got it, and in fact, it's one of those. You would not believe what I had to go through to put a new video card in the thing, and even then, it's not exactly. Let's put it this way: even upgraded, it's not what we shall call cutting edge, and it's ticking along. No weird noises or anything. That's a good sign. But I don't know. It was one of those little $500, one of the cheap ones. That's what gets me. They call a $300, $400, $500 system cheap. What they mean is, we spent $50 in parts in Taiwan for this thing, But it works, it runs. But I'm not winning the internet race, not by a long shot. Fatal bomb, But, now my printer has decided to give me trouble. A couple of the I don't have enough USB ports in this thing. I tried to get one of those USB expanders, the ones that you plug it in, it has 4 or 5 more. That doesn't work. It won't work with it. And a couple of the USB ports in here are broken. I'm not sure what happened there. I think something. I don't know. But they're bent out of shape. They're broken. So 2 of the ports, because they were the 2 in the front. They're the ones that were plugging things in and out of all the time. So, well, you can guess how it goes. But there you go. There you have it. So basically, I'm sort of getting the message. We're about to die on you. Thankfully, I have a laptop, and I also have a tablet. Again, these are the discount brand, cheap knockoff, last decade's model kind of things. But they're emergency backup, so I can You know, if this thing, you know, just sort of just lets all the magic smoke out one day, I can limp along on that. I'll have a mother of a time, you know, cobbling things over. But yeah, you know, got a friend of mine who's always he doesn't like the cloud. He's a technician. He's a computer technician. He works for another company, and he does not like the idea of the cloud. You know, people putting this is brilliant. Let's put all our sensitive data on a random computer out in the middle of nowhere that we have no idea where it is. It's zero security. Basically the equivalent of it's sort of like it's not even putting money in your mattress. It's like, here, we'll throw our bank account up on the roof so that nobody can find it. But I can understand why people are going for the cloud, because having all your data at home sounds great, as long as you're willing to fanatically make backups all the time, and you are prepared for when some vital organ in your home computer suddenly goes, and leaves you floundering. The idea of just going out, just plugging in the system, starting up from scratch, without having to transfer tons and tons of files, and re-upload all your software and everything else. That's kind of attractive. That's kind of an attractive idea. That's why the cloud concept is selling so much. I think people are very. I think this modern generation, the people who've lived with the internet are less suspicious of it. That's the problem. Think about all these actresses. Think about all these actresses who have been out there, and they get in these monstrous scandals. How do they get into scandals? What happens? How does the scandal start? Oh my gosh. Their nude selfies got out on the internet. Okay. I cannot begin to describe the number of critical thinking failures that went into this circumstance. Think about that. First of all, nude selfie. Even taking Polaroids of yourself like that, not a smart idea. Because even if you did nothing but take nude Polaroids of yourself and keep them in a safe in your house, that's just begging for somebody to stumble across them eventually. 2. Nude selfies on their cell phone. What part of this sounds secure to you, woman? Listen, J-Lo. Listen, Kim Kardashian. Anybody, maybe you've forgotten, but the purpose of a cell phone is to connect to lots of other people. So whatever you say into it is not going to be private. Whatever you type into it is not going to be private. And whatever you photograph into it is not going to be private. Even if you send it to only one person, that's got to pass through. What does it got to pass through? It's got to pass through the service provider. It's got to pass through all sorts of hands before it gets to the destination. That's the equivalent of taking a nude photograph of yourself with a Polaroid camera, sticking it to the outside of the envelope, and then mailing it. Furthermore, at least with a Polaroid, they got to go to some effort to copy it. We live in a world where you can make 1 million copies of anything with the push of a button. All it takes is one person who gets your naked picture going, no, I should delete this. Whoops, send it to everyone. and everybody knows about your most embarrassing birthmarks, okay? And then these people they go on the news and on these talk shows. Oh, these horrible people who passed out my photographs. These people who passed out my naked. Why are you taking naked photographs and putting them on the internet anyway? What did you expect? That's the wrong question. They didn't expect anything. That's they you know, just a head, you know, just noggin full of oatmeal and take these Hollywood bimbos that are walking around, got a 3-ounce brain sloshing around and about 2 liters of Pepsi. Dude! Well, stupid, you know, yeah, you know, people who have grown up with the internet are far more trusting of it. They're not nearly as, you know, the older generation is too suspicious of the internet sometimes, ridiculously so. The younger generation is too trusting of it. Now, they you know, when they don't even take common sense precautions. But this is why the people, you know, the reason people are going for this cloud thing is because they value convenience over security. There's your answer, Daniel Meyer. Why are they doing this? Because it's easier for them. You know, the bad news is, yeah, going back to, you know, the good news is I got my internet filed. You know, I got my state and federal taxes filed. The good news is I owe nothing to the state of Ohio, but I owe $1,400 to the federal, and I'm going to be making monthly payments again. You know, once they get the tax, then they return it to me, and then I can apply to make monthly payments. You know what the payments are for? Payments are Social Security, which I am trying to get right now. They're ruining my life for Social Security. After all this I went through over the past 7 or 8, almost a decade of my life was wasted. You know, I couldn't get anywhere, you know, because the IRS was eating up everything. For Social Security. And, you know, because I kept having to make payments, and pay, and I could never catch up because every year I'd been making, you know, I can't pay my taxes. Why not? Because I've been paying my taxes all last year. And here we are again, $1,400 of stuff that it's supposed to be my money going into a savings account for when I'm old and need it. But I wouldn't need it if it weren't for the fact that they're taking it from me now. I swear, I'd punch Franklin Delano Roosevelt right in the balls if I could meet him. Thanks to that bastard's New Deal, I have been unable to get out from under, and I'm not going to be able to ever get out from under again. The last few months, you know, but in the months between the GoFundMe I ran to just pay off my taxes and April 15th of this year, that is you know, the pitiful stretch where, you know, I was caught up on everything. Now, you know, in case you haven't guessed, I'm not happy. really not a happy. I'm never a happy man, but you know, this is just too much, and back to square one. You know, back to I have no clue. I have no plan. I've shot the works. You know. I'm out of ideas, I'm out of plans, I'm out of... You know, and I hate this, I hate this existence, because I'm, behind on everything, and I'm behind on everything I'm supposed to do, everything I'm supposed to, everything I'm supposed to pay off. So this is they're gonna this is my this is gonna be my epitaph. This is what they're gonna say about me after I'm dead. He died penniless, broken, and in massive debt. There'll be nothing else worth saying about me. In case you haven't guessed, it's kind of getting to me. It kind of got to me. I've had people help me out of so many different ditches I've driven over in, and I can't seem to go any distance without going right back into the ditch. And it's kind of killing me. And I've come up with some ideas and things that I can't begin to describe. I start talking about these things because talking about them out loud where other people can hear it helps dissuade me from even thinking about doing it. I don't know. When I talk about some of the things I've thought of doing, I don't know whether I'm trying to talk myself into it or I'm trying to talk myself out of it. I'm never sure. I don't know. I think it's kind of sad that the only reason that there are some things I know of that I could do to make money, to make a lot of money, if I was careful at it, if I was good at it. I was persistent, if I was careful, I could make a lot of money. I'm fairly confident I could. The only thing, and I hate this about myself, is that the only thing that keeps me from doing it is the fact that I would immediately be discovered. I'm fairly confident that I would immediately be discovered if I tried to do it anonymously. It would be inevitable. I would be discovered. I would be figured out. People would figure out who I was. Even if I tried it under an alias, and it would immediately destroy what little decent reputation I have. And that kind of frightens me right now. That I'm, and it shames me. I've been measured and found wanting. They say that you never know what you're going to do until you're out there on the, hanging on the end of a rope yourself. And I've been dangling here so long, I don't know what to think. I don't have. What my guilty conscience is, just slowly being chipped away. But talking here helps hold me back a little. I would rather, do things because, do things or not do things because I was honorable and noble and devout, and I would never, couldn't ever imagine doing such things. But I'm beyond that point. I never imagined I would be this fat either, so there you have it for best laid plans of mice and men. I'd see guys on, I don't remember years ago, I would see guys on the bus, on the public bus, take up 3-4 seats by themselves, that kind of fat. And I go, well, I'm overweight, but at least I'm not gotten that way and I'll never get that far. Surprise! I'd never do that. Months later, you're doing it. Whether it's months later, the next day, or 20 years from down the road, there you are. It's a little dispiriting. this, it took me an entire week to draw this. Picking and picking and picking. And this is all I've got. This is pathetic. I can pick up a pen, I can pick up a stylus and start drawing anything else entirely. But when I start drawing what I need to be drawing, it's like trying to give birth to a chair. Or pass a kidney stone shaped like a symbol from Prince. Have I got this on? Oh, I'm sorry about that. Header, text, window capture. There we go. I didn't realize I had the wrong window open. There we go. This is what I'm talking about. It took me this long to do this much. Trying to add the text now. Oh, come on. I keep forgetting the name of the werewolf boy. I'm gonna have to go over. Now the bishop. Now the bishop and the Duke Greymalkin. Duke Greymalkin. Now, would you say that? I'm trying to think of the term that they'd use. The bishop is Duke Greymalkin's mentor. Church patron. Call him patron. Bishop or cardinal. really need to start writing down notes. What's the bishop's name? What's the cardinal's name? What's the... Man, that is a lot of pages. What's his name? Look, I gotta go. So I gotta look up here. Let's see. Yes, I remember correctly. Congratulate me, I actually remembered one of my characters' names! Yay! Let's see here. Yeah, in case you're wondering, yeah, the Duke of Fenwick, he's kind of a progressive thinker for the medieval period. Because he's come to the basic conclusion that throwing people in dungeons and torturing them, that kind of nonsense, he's not up for it. Because, as he would point out, it doesn't make any sense. You got somebody who robbed a house, or poaches a deer, or something like that, some nonsense like that. What good does it do? What good does it do anyone? He breaks a window. Let's stick him in a box and poke him with sticks. Yeah, the window's still broken, and all you got is a guy in a box stuck full of sticks. So his usual go-to solution is to put them to hard labor for at least a month or two. Well, it's not a medieval setting, not by a long stretch. Nope, it isn't. But, pseudo-medieval. Pellinor is the squire. It's also the name of the dead knight that used to wear the armor. Family thing, yeah. Alright. So, let me, whew. No, change back, go back. New post. I figure about the time I'm 98, I'll finish everything that I currently have backlogged. I've seen the new trailer for the new movie coming out Christmas, the new Star Wars, where they finally quit torturing the franchise and give it a mercy killing. It's really sad. It really is. How does a company like Disney screw up this bad? I mean, Disney, for crying out loud. The Disney Corporation used to be the gold standard for family entertainment. What the heck happened? I mean, they had a bad couple of years back in the 90s when what's-his-name took over. They didn't know their butt from their own face. They announced they were never going to make another animated class. They weren't going to make another classically animated feature ever again, and they were going to go all digital now. And they were and at the exact same time that they were letting go of Pixar. This Pixar, they fulfilled their contract and were getting ready to go off on their own. Apparently they made a couple of Disney used their in-house animators to make a couple of CGI features that went, direct to video. that. For those of you who don't know, direct-to-video, that's code for this really sucked. Talking bargain bin. And after those things bombed, they got down on their hands and knees and begged Pixar to come back. And they started doing animated features again. Maybe we're not so big we can get away from our actual source franchise. No, they literally got handed one of the, they've taken over Marvel, they've taken Star Wars, they've got it all, man, and it seems like now that they've got all the marbles, they've lost all their marbles. No. I've completely lost my train of thought. Yay. I'm excited. It's kind of ironic that DC finally came out with a single good superhero movie about the time that Marvel decided to shoot themselves in the nuts. And they're both movies about Captain Marvel. The real Captain Marvel, who goes Shazam, and the fake Captain Marvel that Marvel Comics invented just to give DC a hard time. Oh my. Is the audio working? I do not know. Okay. trying to think of something that I want to talk about that I am not sick of talking about. And I'm coming up dry. Once again, the IRS has hit me, and once again, I owe them. After last year, they decided I owe them $1,400 in Social Security tax. I couldn't even buy them lunch at Taco Bell right now. I have just enough money in the bank to pay the guy who's coming to mow my lawn tomorrow. I can't produce at the rate that I need to. I don't know. Well, I know. I do know. I don't know why I say I don't know. Where saying I don't know is me. I'm just so tired of talking about this. So tired of poking at the fact, poking at the issue, trying to make sense of it, trying to find a way out, trying to motivate myself to see that the sun will come out tomorrow. Blah. Let's see. Okay, I've put two of my fan fictions up on Sufficient Velocity. I love that. I love the name of the. I love the name of that forum. I do. This is because of the joke behind it. For those who missed it last time. Sufficient Velocity. It's a reference. It used to be that on that forum they used to argue back and forth a lot about spaceship battles. You know, like how many enterprises would it take to beat a Death Star and that kind of thing. And one guy finally came up with the answer that all the physics nerds loved, and he said, you know, the answer to any question in a versus challenge is 1 with sufficient velocity. I've heard of the show Miraculous Ladybug. Met a girl who, it's a French cartoon about a girl who turns into a superhero. It's basically a French version of the Sailor Senshi. You know, girl with a magic token turns into a superheroine. She's got a crush rival. You know, an adversary is called Chat Noir, basically a guy who turns into a black cat themed hero, and you know, they battle the forces of whatever. Yeah, you can tell how enthused I am. You can sense my enthusiasm, feel my lack of enthuse. Anyway, I put the Warcrafter and Ladybird up on sufficient velocity. I'm getting a real good response. Real positive. Lots of readers, lots of new readers. I'm hoping some of those readers will sort of funnel in the general direction of my Patreon page, one of those stupid love triangles with two people. Yeah. She's in love with his civilian identity, he's in love with her superhero identity. Yada, 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 yada. And how many seasons can we stretch it out before they find out each other's identities? Yes. Even Superman got sick of that crap. I saw a page from one of the more recent Batman comics. Commissioner Gordon's daughter, what's her name, was apparently in recently she's going around, revealing to certain intimate people in her life that, she was Batgirl. And in this one page, she's apparently just told Commissioner Gordon, her father, and he's like, I've known for years. I've been playing this role for years. Just because you and Bruce Wayne seem to, so you and Bruce Wayne could do what you thought you could do. I've known ever since you first sneaked out of the house with Dick Grayson in that costume. She's like, how did you know? And he's like, he's standing there, he's just gotten in from there. How? I'm a detective! I'm a freaking detective! Most brilliant moment, my fan fictions are on sufficient velocity. Just look under, just go to sufficient velocity, look under the worm stories, and look for Ladybird and Warcrafter. Zippity-doo-dah. Or just type in the search, use the search window. There's nothing new on, there's nothing on those forums that isn't on Archive of Our Own, just so you know. I'm keeping those two updated. I probably really ought to update the copies. I probably really ought to update the copies that are on fanfiction.net. But I hate trying to update crap on fanfiction.net. It's a colossal pain in the butt. Hell, I may just go. I may just spend tomorrow updating that anyway. I can't. Like I said, I got to get more readers. I got to get more watchers. I got to get more viewers. I got to get more patrons, and all. Unless I want to, die. I would really like to reach. I've got like 98. I've got 98 patrons right now, and that comes in just a little bit over $400 every month. You know, I would like to reach a point where I have at least 1,000 patrons, or where I'm pulling in at least a grand. I remember when I'm old enough to remember when making as little as that was, was more than enough to live on. It's not anymore. It hasn't been for over a decade. Just an old fart. Had some guy that wrote in. I posted the story and the Warcrafter, and he's like, "Oh, you're doing this all wrong." I said, Druids aren't like that. Druids aren't supposed to be like that. What kind of druid would be industrializing? Because Bayleaf is out there making trinkets and gadgets and selling them. And I was like, I wrote him back. I responded and said, well, it's supposed to be that druids are all about balance. They're supposed to be about balance. And in this case, it's about a balance between nature and nature and civilization. Or rather, if druids were about balance, they would feel it that way. It's about balance between nature and civilization. Is that for all that oneness with nature, Bayleaf isn't going to turn his nose up at what civilization is capable of. Because doggone it, let's be honest, human beings are the only species on the planet that actually give a crap about the environment. Your beautiful, wild, and all natural wolf.
This knife has a straight edge on it.
That one with nature timber wolf out in the woods. He'd trade the whole forest in a heartbeat for a can opener, a pair of opposable thumbs, and a crate of alcohol, okay? If ants had technology, the world would end in a nuclear war within a week. Every species on the earth, other than man, would blindly eat, fornicate, and kill until there was nothing left but on the surface of the earth, but the corpses of their own offspring.
So it's very easy. Maybe in our world here, there lives a happy little mountain.
Humans are the only ones that are willing to stick around and clean up after the party, you know what I'm saying? This guy is French. He made sure to inform everybody of that. He said, well, you're so wrong. You're so wrong, and I can't begin to list all the ways you're wrong. And it's like, well, pardon me, the almighty French popcorn fart has spoken. I'm not going to read any more of your story. Well, thank you. You can begin by shutting him up. I'm an American. The day I give a crap what the French think of me, this day I've been a week dead. lot of people don't like the fact that I had, in both stories, I'm trying to redeem Greg Vedder. For those who don't know, let me sum it up. Greg Vedder is the Ron Weasley of Worm and of Worm fan fictions. You see, because in the original story, when in the early chapters, when the protagonist Taylor, when she was still at school, she was an outcast. She was bullied and ostracized, and basically, she was, there was no in group where she was in. She was completely outcast, and she constantly ended up down there at the bottom rung with her was like one guy named Sparky who was either a stoner or had narcolepsy, and Greg Vedder, who was basically a poster child for kind of creepy autistic geek. And Taylor didn't like, she was not a very sympathetic character. I'm sorry. She was very all wrapped up in her own problems for obvious reasons, and she considered Greg to be obnoxious. She didn't like him. He wasn't mean or anything, but he was kind of off-putting. He was creepy, she put it. And what was it? He's just a nerd. Zero social skills. And it struck me when I was reading it, and I made this point myself. Is that he was a loner. He was an outcast. He had no social skills. People were kind of creeped out by. Some people were kind of creeped out by him. But what everybody seems to keep missing is that Taylor Hebert, from an outside perspective, wasn't that much different. Taylor Hebert was outcast, unless she had zero social skills. She was the school loser. She'd been put there and kept there. The only reason that everybody makes her the whoopee, she's so sympathetic, is because she's the point of view character. And it was kind of ironic that she never picked up that Greg, for all the problems that he had, was just in the same boat like her. And that maybe he would have been better off, if she had just gone out of her way, not just to be polite to him, but to be a friend. They both might have been better off. This is what I'm saying. And as I point out, one of the things I like to say is that for Taylor Hebert, all the struggles she was doing, for her, it was about 2 years of being put through hell. For Greg Vedder, that was his life. So which is the more tragic figure? I really don't know. It's called, the TV Tropes calls it Ron the Death Eater, where they take a character and just villainize them for no real reason, no real sensible or particular reason. Greg is also a troll online, and he's always getting banned. He's always getting banned from PHO for saying insensitive things. And in both of my stories, in one, Greg, Well, in Lady Bird, he's just been transmogrified into an Earth Pony. Things are about to get real interesting around the Ward's headquarters. And in Warcrafter, he becomes a paladin. I hate to say how easy it is to write for Greg Vader sometimes. Because growing up, I was an outcast, and I had, again, zero social skills. I was utterly oblivious to the fact that that what I was doing was unsettling or disturbing or bothered people. I had no clue. Now, where was I going to learn that? Where was I going to learn social skills from? My vast circle of closely knit, loyal friends? Oh, wait. It says something sad about human, it says something sad and tragically very obvious to any Christian. Something about human nature that we are vicious and unforgiving towards flawed characters. But we are absolutely enamored of villains. Consider Ron Weasley versus Severus Snape in the Harry Potter stories. Even Rowling fell into her own trap and gave Snape a last-minute, sorry, pathetic, quote-unquote redemption arc, which he had not earned, and which which really didn't fool me, to put it mildly. There's so many people that, oh, Snape was tragic, he was poor, misunderstood. It was so sad. He was bullied as a boy, and it ruined his life, and blah 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 blah. But Ron Weasley, the sidekick, who had literally thrown himself in danger's path over and over again for the sake of his friends. Kill it with fire. Oh, well, thank you for saying that, Ben. I'm glad that you enjoy rereading my stuff. I am working on a new chapter. I've had more, speech impediment here. I've developed a stutter. I was trying to say it. I've had so many chapters and story ideas popping into my head right now, and vignettes and stuff. I think maybe I'm going to take a couple of days, and just concentrate on writing the stories. Work on nothing but writing for a day or two, and try and I don't know, the literary equivalent of rotating the crops. I don't know. Jar Jar Binks versus Darth Vader, yeah. The fact that the prequels managed to turn Darth Vader into a whiny farm boy, that's sad. Just really, it really just fell apart. They just really didn't know where they were going with the story. You know, Lucas did not know where he was going, and then he handed it over to people who didn't know where to pick up where he'd left off, and you know, that was it. You know, Jar Jar Binks. I'll say this. I saw the prequels in the movie theater when it came out. I didn't understand why everybody hated Jar Jar Binks so much. The one I hated was Anakin. You know, Jar Jar Binks was supposed to be a comic relief character. You know, the whole movie was kind of mediocre anyway. You know, it doesn't really bear up to watching repeatedly, but Jar, you know, he was. But Anakin, man, good night. That poor kid. I feel sorry for the kid that played him. He got bullied after after the movies were done. My, who couldn't have seen that coming? Bullied by the kids at his school. And there was more to it than just the bullying, too. He did not have a fun time with making the movie. But the kid, they give him the worst lines ever. Are you an angel? My mommy says angels are the most beautiful creatures in the universe. And I just walked over and floated up. What can you say? All the characters in those prequels were kind of sad. Excuse me. Bad acting, stupid writing, bad dialogue, poor plot. Plot holes you could drive a Star Destroyer through. Just really. Of course, dumping all over the original trilogy's folklore. Midi-chlorians! This is what happens when you go to public school. George Lucas came out only remembering one thing. The mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. Boy, I think I'll put that in a script. I can't give Jar Jar Binks very much credit. He's not a character that makes things happen. He's a character that was along to have things happen to him. Oh, look, he got his tongue electrocuted. Ha, 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 ha. Oh, look, he's in the middle of a battlefield and doesn't know what he's doing. Ha, 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 ha. Oh, mercy, yeah. I'm sorry, the scene with the younglings, you know, any sympathy I had for Anakin and how the Jedi had screwed him over, out the window. Of course, the old Jedi Order, oh, mercy, they are screwed up. The Jedi philosophy is morally and psychologically self-destructive. Feelings are bad, children. Don't have them. had a feeling today, Father. Well, don't, son. The more they wrote about the Jedi Order, the more horrible it became. It became a bunch of intolerant religious fanatics who went around kidnapping children with any aptitude for the Force, indoctrinating them and using them as cannon fodder in wars all over the galaxy. Oh, and never mind the fact that they were perfectly fine using clone slaves as meat walls on the battlefield. Thank you. No wonder all the clone soldiers were ready to shoot him in the back. I keep doing drawing every night for a couple hours, but I think this week I'm going to concentrate more on the writing. I've had people flat out tell me they didn't care about the comics, they became a Patreon for my fan fictions. That's sort of bending the rule, bending a bit right there, just an eensy-weensy bit, but I can't exactly object. People who are donating to my Patreon are just donating to my artistic efforts in general. I don't know what I'm fishing for. I don't know what I'm trying to think of at the moment. There was something I wanted to bring up, wanted to talk about, wanted to get some feedback from some viewers, listeners, readers, watchers, whatever. And I can't remember what it was. Mom and dad. I got my sister, brother-in-law, 3 nieces, one nephew-in-law, 1 grandniece, that family size there, you know. So, family tree right there. Haven't seen the baby yet. I've seen pictures. What does she look like? She looks like a baby. We're not talking like a ton of distinctive features yet, you know what I'm saying? I mean, come on. You walk into a maternity ward where they got all those babies together. If some of them weren't black, you wouldn't be able to tell them apart. Come on. I'd recognize my baby anywhere. Pull the other one. He plays Jingle Bells. And one of the common tropes in Harry Potter fan fictions is that they get all suspicious because you know, one of the things they point out that, you know, we think Molly Weasley is up to something. Either Dumbledore is manipulating her, or she's manipulating Dumbledore, or there's some sort of sinister plot going on, and Molly Weasley is involved. And one of the things they say is because when Harry Potter got to the train station, she was standing out there. Now, which which platform are we supposed to get on? Like she's got seven kids. If she hasn't figured it out by now, she's obviously laying a trap for Harry Potter. She knows he's here somewhere, and and I'm like, yeah, or she could just be letting her kid feel clever. Now tell us, what platform are we on? 9 3/4. Very good. That kind of thing. And plus, and everybody's going on about how confused Molly Weasley is acting way too confused, on the platform, and I had to sort of point out okay, Molly Weasley has 7 children. Only the youngest is a girl. No, wait a minute, she's got 7 children. And 6 of them are boys. 2 of them are twins, whose favorite joke is to switch names whenever she asks which one they are. So yeah, I can understand the woman being a little flustered and confused from time to time. Well, I don't know about the Clone Wars show. I never saw the Clone Wars, I've never seen any of the cartoon shows that have been spun off from Star Wars, so I wouldn't know about what Jar Jar Binks has been up in those. All I know really is the movies. And since they've started the new trilogy, I'm regretting knowing those. Like sand, it's gritty and gets in everything. a better love story than Twilight. Oh, no, he doesn't. Yeah. Well, I think the real reason that most people disliked him so much is because of how the character was used in the movies. He wasn't there for any actual functional purpose. He was a distraction. Every time the movie would be clicking along, and all of a sudden it'd be like, they shove the Gungan doll in front of the camera. Oh, look at the funny Gungan! Look at the funny Gungan! See the funny things the Gungan doing! They didn't give him any character development. They didn't give him any reason to be doing anything that he was doing. He was just there. And every now and then they'd have him do a pratfall. Oh yeah. He was sort of symptomatic of everything that was wrong with the movies. The people that made the prequels were basically, as one friend put it, the original trilogy was made for the child in all of us. The prequel trilogy was made for the child sitting next to us. They dumbed it down. They treated the audience like it was stupid, and the mojo just wasn't there, and they really didn't care. Now, frankly, half of the problem was that in the first movie, The Phantom Menace, if Anakin had been a teenager, it would have been more believable. Young, gawky, I could see somebody being a prodigy. Like Anakin was in the movie, but only if he was a little older. That's just me. And having a 10-year-old boy fall for a 20-year-old woman, that's just kind of creepy. Kind of creepy in all the wrong ways, okay? What I'm saying is that Anakin should have been a little bit older. He should have been about a teenager. He should have been a little bit surly, a little bit, he should have let a little bit of temper show every now and then. And he should have been kind of, spooky in the I see dead people kind of way. He should, dark, shadowy, and troubled. Instead, they made him, perky and bubbly. And in the second one, they made him whiny. Oh, I broke my lightsaber. Master's gonna kill me. They won't let me do anything. They don't think I'm ready for anything. I'm like, yeah. I love how she kept talking about how Padme kept talking about the people of my planet are dying and suffering, and not even once in the movie, until the very end where they're all parading and celebrating the victory, you don't see any people. You don't see any people in chains. You don't see people. You don't see people being enslaved. You don't see people, running for the light. Nothing. Where are all the people that are supposedly doing all this suffering? Even the Gungans had it pretty good. You know, they were underwater. Nobody was bothering them. And the less said about the battle tactics, the better. Star Wars is notorious for absolutely stupid and awful battle tactics. Let's put it this way, you know, the AT-AT, oh yeah, it was a cool toy and everybody wanted one, but man, was it a stupid design for a battle machine. It was ridiculously tall, which made it a target for anything that could fire. You know, it made it a primary target for any missile coming its way. It had no guns in the back, and it had a narrow little cone ahead of it, you know, for fire for effect. And in the back, you could, you know, if the snow speeders had just flown up around it and flown a big wide circle and come at it from behind, that would have been it. But no, George Lucas, let's have them fly straight ahead at them. That's dramatic. Of course it looks stupid. Who cares? It's not like smart people are watching these movies, right? I remember the first time we watched the movie at home, my dad said, why don't they fly around? Why are they flying straight in? The guns are only in the front. What are they doing? The only rational explanation I've ever heard or ever come up with for why the Empire is so abysmally stupid about how they design their ships and their battle fleets and their Death Stars and all their military hardware. Well, basically, let's put it this way: imagine Adolf Hitler with the Empire's budget. Well, you know, during the end of the, about the last couple of years of World War II, Hitler's war effort got seriously bonkers. They were constantly, he was constantly out on the lookout for some miracle super weapon that would change the tide of battle, and he was greenlighting all sorts of batshit crazy projects. You remember that tank in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade? You know how ridiculously huge it was, and impossible to maneuver. All the other problems you could see just by looking at it. One of Hitler's pet projects. There are entire websites of some of the absolutely bonkers weapons designs that various despots and tyrants have come up with. Now, the free world has a few bat-poo crazy projects hiding on back shelves too, but we tend to shelve them. When they prove to be less than optimal. Tyrants and despots, living in an echo chamber as they are, tend to approach the problem with, we just need to spend more money to make it work. Megalomania and military strategy and such don't blend well. I want to make a giant battleship shaped like my head. He shall shoot 50mm guns out of my nostrils. eyes shall come out of my eyes. Lasers! You know, the sharks with frickin' lasers on their head syndrome. Okay, it is 11 o'clock. Finally finished up that latest Questor page, which is posted in black and white. Hooray. And well, that about sums it up for my achievements today. Okay, you all take care of yourselves. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. I think I'm going to spend a little time trying to fix what is wrong with this stupid OBS program. Try and see if I can get some better graphics and art and stuff for next time. That'll be all for now. I'd like to thank you. Y'all take good care of yourselves. This has been another broadcast of Spleen Squeezins. That's all, folks.